Hello, James and Bessie. How are you guys today?
Hi,
Excellent.
Bonnie.
How's things over there in Toronto, Bonnie?
Everything is great in Toronto. Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't even know how much, if you guys know how much we love our Britbox here in Canada. So thank you for this series. I could not stop watching. I binged all 6 episodes. I was like, my
Did
jaw
you?
was on the floor after every episode, and I went down the Google rabbit hole after every episode. So, Bessie, I want to start with you because yes, it's based on the on the biography that was written. They were very well known in Britain. How much did you know about this family before you even started?
I had a really weird amount of knowledge about Nancy Mitford because I shared quite a few things with her. I was born in the hospital she worked at during the war. I
Wow.
lived 10 minutes from where she lived. I went to this, she went to a school for about a term and I went to the same school as her. And I narrated her book, The Pursuit of Love. Not that that's a plug, but it kind of is,
It kind
which
of is.
the producer was listening to it and didn't know he'd cast me and was
Get
listening to
out.
The Pursuit of Love, and it was me narrating it. So there were all these weird. So I knew about her, and I knew of. I sort of knew the myths of her sisters, of like, oh, some of them went down political roads. But then it was really reading Mary Lovell's book that it's based off of. That was my first sort of in-depth sort of research around them, and I just couldn't believe, like you said, I could not believe that it was all real and that they, that they did what they did. So it was exciting to read it for the first time.
It's such a pleasure talking to somebody who's actually watched all of them
Oh,
Yeah.
because I can tell from the look on your face that you found it
it's
astonishing.
well, like I said, I started Googling. Like, I have to say, there is a cliffhanger because you guys could easily do a season 2 because people who do not know these women, this family, where they went, what ended up happening, like to Unity, like whatever, right? But James, I have to ask you because from what we could see, David was he was pretty strict with his girls. He didn't want them to go to school, but I think that calling this outrageous is the best title for this series. What do you think about that?
I think certainly he would have thought that they were outrageous, and in fact, I think he did think they were outrageous. He was not that sort of man at all. He didn't like newspapers. He didn't like gossip columns. He just wanted to get on and look after his house and make a little bit of money and have a port at the club with his gentleman friends. Having any kind of publicity about his family was not something that he found enjoyable in any way at all.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, uh-oh.
Yeah.
He was very much a man who was a conservative with a small c. He'd fought in the Boer War in the 1890s, then in the First World War in 14 to 18. He'd lost a lung but had another, so that was all right.
Yeah.
And he didn't really think the women should have opinions. The
Sure.
women
Yeah.
really, they should get married, have a child, look after a household, and that's enough for you, young lady.
Right.
So he was not somebody who was terribly interested in that kind of thing. So to have 6 of them with
Yeah.
the most extraordinary polarized politics amongst them, and to have that being spoken at him
Yeah.
was something that I think he found particularly hard to deal with.
100%. And Bessie, I'm watching this and I'm going, the sisters were very much, well, I guess it was the times, but, influenced by the men that they were with, like very influenced by them. And it was sometimes hard to watch. Like somebody, like, I mean, they were all intelligent women. It's not like they were dummies, like they were all intelligent. But with Nancy too, like, oh, I was like screaming at the TV because I was like, this guy's taking advantage of you. Like, stop. Like, how do you feel about that? About how the influence of the males, you know?
Well, I'd
Ah,
argue that actually a lot of the men were influenced by the women, especially Diana and Unity. I think they had a certain power over these men, and they had a sort of a brain that, it's the thing of behind every powerful man is an even more powerful woman. And I do think that is the case with Diana and Unity. Unity maybe didn't know the power she had, but
yeah,
Nancy, I bless her. I think Nancy was closer to her parents' age and closer to that generation, and did value some of those traditional things like wanting to get married and wanting to have a baby. And, you know, luckily Nancy is sort of our narrator, our storyteller, and hopefully the lovable woman who keeps getting things wrong but keeps trying again. And
Yeah.
I had to leave my 21st century feminist brain at the door quite a few times, because that's not my job for me to
No, of
feel a certain
course.
way about it. I have, you know, but I think that I think she learns a lesson. I mean, you'll see over, as you've seen over the 6 episodes, is there's a real maturing that Nancy
Yes.
goes through, and a coming of age where she has to take a stance. And at no point is she ever a victim. And that was something Sarah, our amazing writer, Sarah Williams, said to me in day one. She said one thing about Nancy, she never saw herself as a victim, and she didn't. She always got up and
Right.
carried on, which was
True.
a very British thing.
Yeah.
To, you know, varying degrees of success, but
Yeah. James, you know, too bad for you. What was it like being around all these lovely women and then being married to Anna? And I mean, honestly, what a group of fabulous
it.
actors.
Well, I loved
loved
it,
her.
obviously. I mean, I feel inordinately proud of all of those actresses, every one of them. And I do get a little bit teary when I see them all, because I genuinely think these are some of the most deftly drawn performances that
Yeah.
you will see on television this year. I
Real-
think
yeah.
every single one of them is an incredible individual, and yet without a shadow of a doubt, they all come from the same family.
Yeah.
I've known Anna for 35 years. She's the
Yes.
godmother to my eldest child in real life. So I have never worked with her, but working with her was like a lifelong dream, because she really is just one of the great actresses of our generation.
Lovely.
She
Yeah.
hits treble 20 on the dartboard every single time. She's a genius. It's such a pleasure working with her.
Yeah. Yeah. I really do hope this continues on, because people need to see there's so much more story to tell. Okay. I only have
There's
about
so much
There's
more.
so much
Right?
more meat on these
So
bones.
much more.
There
We
really,
only get
really
to
is.
1937, and it's so much more still to come.
Yeah. Well, if you do a season 2, I will fly out to London and bring you guys coffee. Like, I will do anything to be on this set, honestly. Like, I've just, you
We'll
know,
hold you to that.
just remember, you got my number. Okay, just to wrap it up, I got about a minute left. Okay. Bessie, got to ask you. I mean, I'm so looking forward to more Bridgerton. Love Bridgerton. We spoke for that. I'm obsessed. But I have to ask you, is your dad just depressed about hanging up the butler uniform? Like, I'm very sad that Downton Abbey's done.
Oh, I think, you know what? It's been about 16 years,
Right?
which I think we forget. We forget as the audience. So, no, I think he will be there at the premiere in September, proudly hanging up his butler suit.
Yeah.
But like me, he's a very keen gardener, so he also likes spending his time in his garden
Oh,
as well.
he is in heaven. He's
Right
in
now.
heaven right
In
now.
England
I
in
am
the summer.
sure he deserves it. And James, just to wrap it up with you, you are in our Canadian series with the wonderful Alan Hocko, St. Pierre. Are we having you back for season 2? And how much fun is it to work with that guy?
I'm not. Oh, he's lovely to work with. He's a very lovely man, and literally a one-man television industry in Newfoundland.
Yes,
He is
yes.
astonishing. And I can't tell you whether I come back, because we ended the first season on a cliffhanger.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Okay, well, I'm just putting it out there. So fingers
So
crossed.
you're just trying to get me to spill the beans.
I am.
No,
I
no,
am.
no, no. I
You
will
can
not
call
be
me
doing
later
that.
when we're not on camera and you can tell me privately. But
Sure,
anyway,
sure.
guys, thank you so much for your time. I cannot say enough about this series. I've already posted everything and I'm getting so many people going, when's it starting? When can I watch it? So trust me, here in Canada, you're going to get a lot of viewers. So thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you
very
so much for
much.
having us. Take care.
Take care. Have a
Bye-bye.
great day. Bye-bye.